It worked!
Hello, people. So I am sorry for the technical problems. Right now, people are still having trouble going in. So I'm going to end the call again and it's going and start it up again. So I'm sorry. You just have to click the link again in like 2 minutes because I think. Wait, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I think people are getting now in. So it should be working.
Okay, then I think we'll stay here.
Hello, everyone. Give me just a moment and we're about to start. Hello, everyone. Today's session is going to be complaint management, but first, let's get to know each other. My name is Fatima Garcia, and I'm currently the CS Americas responsible for Americas. I am from ISEC in Venezuela. I joined ISEC in 2016, and outside of ISEC, I'm an English teacher. And now I leave you with Danny.
Hello. Well, my name is Daniela. I am the responsible. Well, can you click Fatima, please? Fatima.
Perdón.
Click. So I'm from Mexico. I joined ISEC in 2014. I'm old. And I am a lawyer and also I'm a student.
And right now, just remember you should write your name and your entity because we're currently in the cluster words. And now let's begin with the topic. First, let's define what's a complaint. To raise a complaint regarding issues in ISEC exchange program policies, any party must dispute resolution process in order to outline this session. The dispute resolution process can be requested by any exchange participant or opportunity provider for claims that will be evaluated based on the ISEC exchange program policies. What are the steps? First, we have the LC to LC, that's 72 hours. We have the ECB to ECB, 168 hours, and the ICB level, that's 120 hours. These steps should be followed or should be done in the right order. Now, there's something small, but that should happen. What do you think it is that people should do before getting to the LC to LC? Go ahead and try and type it, and let's see your answers. What do you think should happen before the LC to LC? For a second. It should be oriented, EP to LC. Very good. Most of you have the right idea. Okay, yeah, it is important to have a proof regarding your case, but it is very extremely important that the EP must try to solve the issue first with the hosting entity. And maybe the sending entity might be involved in that process, but they are still trying to find a solution with the hosting entity first before moving forward to the LC to LC formally. They might be informed, but first the EP needs to try to find a solution with the hosting entity. Now, Danny, you go ahead. You're muted.
Sorry, I was speaking in my go. So first of all, we have like the two sides, the claiming party and the respondent party. The claiming party is the one that have the problem really. So we have the complaint. Okay, keep going, Patty, please. So the complaint party should contact the responder party to start like discuss the issue, and they need to explain like everything that happened to the EP to the OP in order that the responder party can understand what is happening and can understand the main problem. And the complaint party should also give it like a proposal of a solution to be like really proactive, to be like efficiency and in in all these problems. So once the complaint party send them like the email with the or contact the respondent party, they have like 24 hours to respond and present a solution. What happens if the respondent party never reply or something? You have like 72 hours, and if this doesn't happen, you have to like explain to your LC that they need to approach to the LCP or the MC head of the product. This means like the MCP of GP or the MCP of the IGB. So once the responder party, the complaint party have like other 4 days to respond to accept or reject the proposal that was made by the respondent party. And you have like 2 options here. If your entity, accept the proposal, well, you close the case, and our entities are really happy because you're really efficiency and close a really in a really fast way the case. But the complaint party can another thing or propose another way to find a solution. And keep going. And if any of the solution and agreement, you should move out all this case to the next level, that is you have like 3 days in this case. So be sure that your RCs understand that this step, this practice, and be sure that they work really hard to find a solution.
Okay. Also, why do you think, I'm gonna ask you this real quick. Why do you think we name them complaining party and respondent party? Who do you think is the complaining party and who do you think is the respondent party? No, then he's audio a little bit, but I can still understand him. Let us know if you can understand her at all and repeat ourselves. Okay. And who would you call those? The hosting entity or the sending entity? Or it can be any? Perfect. Yeah, it can be any. That's why it's important to put like when we're talking within the CS rules, how the customer, oh my God, case solving flow rules, we have to make sure to put who's the claiming entity, the complaining, and who's the responding entity, just so we know. And let's go with the next one, Dani. You ready?
Yes, I hope that you can hear me better because I'm using my phone right now. Please say me if something happened. Okay, so we are back to the complaint party, and now we have like different like parties, like if the complaint needs to be and the respondent needs to be from the entity. So next.
I'm sorry.
So you already have like a complaint party, you already have like the request, the complaint. You should send like an email with all the things that you have with this case in order, please. Which is mean like you need to send like the current state of the case, the proof and the claim that you have of the case, and the solution that was made for the case that the LC did, and what happened with this. And also be sure to add like the timeline of the LC to be aware of what stage you are like how long is it had been like the complaint. So when the complaint ECB send this, the respondent ECB should be answered in 48 hours. And they need to like analyze the case with their LC, because sometimes you really don't know what is happening. You need to put in contact with your LC, understand what is happening, what the solution was, how is the problem right now, and you need to find like a proper response to the ECB. And you should always you need to find like to send like a response and a proposal for a solution, to be really efficient about this. Because if you only like keep like the communication without a proposal for a solution, it's only like a waste of time. So be sure you always think about a proposal for resolution of this case. So once you respond to the complaint part, you have like other 48 hours to negotiate about the solution, about the thing that you think that the EP happened, all the stuff that you think that it can be made in the negotiation. And now this part of the negotiation part, it need to be like maximum 88 hours. So be sure that you respect all the time, and if you don't really like have all the information on all the stuff, be sure to ask for an extension to respect all the steps, because it can take like a little bit of time to find like that the LC respond to you or something else, or is holiday maybe and the LC is not responding or something. So be sure to respect all the deadlines. So can you please?
Oh, my bad.
So you have this 86 hours, and if you find like you agree in some proposal or something like that, great. Your case is closed, and both entities need to find out like a middle. Sorry, both entities need to be agree of the solution. So if you close the case and it needs to be like and this solution involves some financial compensation, you need to be sure with the other party to clear all the deadlines and how it's going to be paid this one. Why? Because if you agree that you are going to pay it like in 1 month and this thing doesn't happen, you can be like in some trouble, because if the entities doesn't respect the timeline that was agreed in the solution, the complaint party can raise an OCA about this one. And what this means, that if you are not respecting this and we have like an OCA about this, you are going to lose an OCA. Is like a really big issue. So be sure that you are really responsible about the timeline and the agreement that you are going to present, and that you are sure that your entity is going to be aware of this and that it's going to be paid this one. So another thing is that if this happens, we are not going to look the case itself. We are not going to deliver if the compensation is right or no, if there is a violation of the APIP or not. We are only going to see if the agreement it was respected.
Yes, and if it's proven otherwise, is the moment where they automatically lose an OCA because the failure of payment was proved within the things that they might have done. They attached to the OCA. Now the timeline is 168 hours. And the OCA template. Okay. First, we have the OCA, the official case submission. Usually, it is recommended to have an ICB consultancy if no agreement is reached. Oh my bad, I'm reading this backwards. This is the normal timeline for the CS law. First, the LC to LC, no agreement is reached. Then the ECB to ECB, no agreement is reached. Then maybe an ICB consultancy to reach an agreement within the ECB to ECB while they're still discussing. And if no solution is reached or no agreement is found, we go to the OCA submission. And now let's see what that implies. If accepted formally by email, the responding entity has 5 days to send an official case response. If the respondent entity does not reply within 5 days, or maybe they can ask for an extension of the DDL, ICB can accept the OCA that was received by the complaining party as final document where the entity that did not reply will not, like whatever they want to add will not be taken into consideration because they did not follow the deadline. In this situation, ICB will evaluate the OCA, taking into consideration only the proof submitted by the claiming party, and those entities still have the chance to win or lose the case. ICB will only give an OCA case loss for the complaining party without the respondent party information if the OCA does not have enough proof to sustain the claims. Okay. So basically now if you are going to submit an OCA, be very mindful that you have all the information because you can lose an OCA if the information is not, does not sustain your complaints. And ICB can reject an OCA under the following conditions. If there are 0 proof attached to the OCA, if the claims is not supported by any APIP clauses, if the claim is unclear or can have double interpretation, the claiming party did not use the OCA template found in the annex section of the document, and the template submitted has any unconformity. You can find the official link here. I'm gonna fix it because I think I put it wrong. I apologize for that. In the annex number 8, the official case annex. Okay, for the ICB, now we move on to what the OCA is. We still have the claiming party and the respondent entity. We have the complaint. The complaining party must follow the OCA template and properly fill the OCA. The complaining party must also collect all proof and make sure that all claims are valid, and must submit the OCA to ICB and CC the respondent party. The ICB has 48 hours to accept or reject the case, and 120 hours after accepted is the time that, or the 5 days that the responding entity has to provide a response, or unless they ask for an extension of DDL. If no response is received from the responding entity, ICB will accept the OCAs as final, and that's how we're gonna like read the. So the timeline is basically around 7 days because we have 48 hours to accept. It might be sooner than that, but that's the timeline with all the time. We have, again, for the second phase, the OCA has already been accepted. ICB delivers a solution within 120 hours or 5 days. The resolution date, or the date that we mark as lost case, is the first day of compensation. If it applies, ICB will request both parties to submit an apology letter to the EP. And ICB, if ICB solutions implies financial compensations, the party who lost the case must pay according to the APIP. And the case is considered closed. Now let's talk about financial compensation. If the ICB solution involves financial compensation, the entities must pay the 100% of the whatever amount it has to be reimbursed to the EP within 12 months. And within the first 6 months, they should receive at least 50% of the payment. ICB is not responsible to track the OCA compensations that should be agreed within the two entities, and it is important that in any part of the process, the deadlines are met, so that they don't have, like, if you already participated in an OCA, you lost it, and you agree with a timeline with the ECBs, with the other ECB to proceed with the payment. If the timeline is not met, you would be in danger because the complaining entity or the entity that's waiting to receive this money from your entity will raise another OCA because you did not follow, and you will lose another OCA. And this is a kind of a big deal. So we'll explain a little bit later. If not paid within the 12 months, AI will provide the pending reimbursement and will be recorded as a loan for the entity in debt. ICB is the final responsible for the reimbursement in this phase and will calculate the total amount of the reimbursement in CAD, USD, and Europe based on the receipts attached to the OCA. ICB will transform all expenses in different currencies into just one currency, so we don't make this too confusing. No receipts will be accepted after the OCA unless these are appealed. And no expenses will be refunded without receipts. If new receipts providing expenses are provided after the OCA or appeal results, the complaining party will be automatically liable to reimburse these expenses because they were not provided in time. The timeline is 5 days to 10 days, and the compensation timeline is 6 months to 12 months. So again, 50% of the compensation must be provided to the EP or to the within the 6 months, the first 6 months after the first day. The first day starts the moment the case is considered lost, or the first day starts the moment you guys agree on a compensation in ECB to ECB level, LC to LC level, if it's necessary. It should start the moment that you guys set an agreement and create a payment plan. And again, the total must be 12 months, or they can raise an OCA and you will lose another one just for not paying. Now, what's the official appealing? If it applies, the official appealing template must be used, and the official case solution is provided. Within 48 hours, there should be a response from the other party. Within 72 hours, the ICB chair can confirm whether the appeal is accepted or not. And within 120 hours, the official appeal solution from the ICB chair and the appeal committee will be provided. And this is considered final. Things to take into account regarding the official appealing. An appeal is a procedure to reopen an existing official case solution proposed previously by the ICB to change the outcome of the case. An appeal is not a second chance to win a case. It is only aimed to study new impacts to the case that might change the final outcome or might add something to, for example, if you miss some expenses and some receipts during the first OCA, but the EP is found liable for full compensation, and those should be included, you can appeal those new expenses, and it will change, not exactly the outcome, but it will change how much the EP is gonna be receiving as reimbursement. The solution for the appeal is the final statement. There's no appeal to the appeal. So be very mindful that this is the last chance you have to change an official case solution. And if you're missing anything, here's the moment to provide it. And the appeal process is optional. The entity should only request if their case falls under the rules stated in the appeal annex. The appeal a request needs to be signed by both ECB chair and the MCP of the requesting entity. You can find the template in the Annex 9 official case appeal. The timeline is 192 hours to 8 days. Now let's go with the consequences. Danny?
Now the consequence of losing an OCA, well, you can like click.
Oh, my bad.
So, okay, what means lose an OCA? To be like really direct, you lose like the membership criteria of your entity. This means that they cannot vote in legislation in IPM or AC, and this can be like a really hard thing to like win again. Like the membership criteria is like really tricky, so be sure that you are aware of this, that lost an OCA for not responding, for not filling the OCA, or for not paying the compensation or something like that. This can mean that you are going to lose like the membership criteria of your entity. So we also want to like give you like the aware of, you can lose an OCA for every 1,000 experience that you have. This means that if your entity do like 1,100 experience, you can lose only one OCA per semester, right? And if you like, if your entity made like 3,000 or 2,000 or something like that, you can like lose some OCA. But if your entity only made like 190 experience, you can only lose one. If you lose two, you are going to lose like the membership criteria.
Also, only full members not only can vote, but they can access the virtual market, because ISEC is not present in every country. So if some EPs wants to travel and they don't have an ISEC entity, a full member can go ahead and act as their sending entity. But if they're not full member, they are not allowed to do so.
Yes. So now with the extraordinary cases, keep going, please. So the extraordinary cases mean that when the EP is in, when it's a case that is a really emergency of the basic living condition are not full. This means like the EP is homeless. There is no the EP is not being paid for the last month. The EP, what else? His life is in danger. So you as a teacher need to submit directly to the respondent party. This problem like is an extraordinary case, and we need to solve like ASAP, as fast as possible. And if there is no response like in 24 hours, you need to submit this situation to the ECB chair directly, with all the evidence and all the communication that you have tried with the respondent party, and the other party didn't reply anything or something like that. So once you submit the situation to the ECB chair, she is going to give you like the final solution of this case in between 24 hours and 72 hours. And this solution is like, it's a mandate, and you don't have like the right to appeal this situation. So be sure to be really aware of the situation, because I mean, it's like something that it can be really dangerous for our EPs, or that can be like, it damage our image as a ISEC, because we are not dealing this faster enough. So when it's closed, you need to be really sure if you lost something like that. to follow the solution. Because if the solution is not implemented in the next 72 hours, this means also that your entity is going to lose an OCA with ECB again. So next. Remember that if this case involves like a global partner or something, the global partner can submit directly this to the ICB chair. Doesn't need to be like the ECB from an entity. The global partner can research the ICB chair and try to solve this directly with her.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about the ICB consultancy. Well, you can always send like to us the consultancy, and we have we usually respond in like 24 hours to 48 hours, but we have like 72 hours to make like the first reply. And remember that your consultancy always need to be open with all the proofs and all the questions that you are going to ask, and be sure that you add like the question, the doubt that you have about this consultancy. Doesn't only send all the case and don't ask anything. So next, once we reply, you have like all the parties have like 48 hours to 72 hours to reply if is needed like a reply or something like that. And after that, we have another 72 hours to reply like the second argument that you sent. And once we send like the second argument, we have like 24 hours to, if you have like some doubts or you want to reply something, to respond this argument. And once you don't have any doubts or we don't receive any response from your part, we close the consultancy. The timeline of this is like 144 hours, like 10 days.
I mean, it can be long or it can be short. It depends on the consultancy. It depends if there are two entities debating about a difficult case. Maybe it's just a simple doubt, but this would be the timeline in case there's a lot of follow-ups to the same consultancy.
And also it depends of the proof that you send it to us, if we need like more information or not.
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
So now some tips for you to ask a consultancy. So be really, really short about tell all the information. Don't only send like the question without background or something like that, because we are going to spend like more time asking you like, okay, what happened with this? Why the AP doesn't respond? What the other entity respond to you? So be sure that you add like all the information and be really concrete about the information that you send, because if you send like a long paragraph, it's going to take more to us to analyze the information. So be sure like be precise of the things that you send, like the timeline, the short explanation of what happened. So also attach all the proof that you have, and attach all the proof that is really necessary, because sometimes we receive like a really big folders of proof that if we only need like 2 images of 2 papers of 2 documents of that you send, because you send all the information, but be sure to be like aware that you only attach the proof that we need. And also study APIP. Sometimes you can find like the solution or the response to your question in the APIP, and you only need to like read. And if you don't understand how to apply this, you can like ask for a consultancy to be like, can you explain me this part of the APIP and how is going to work, or how can I use in this case, or something like that, because Fadi?
Yeah, and what I was gonna add was like, not only if you have doubts, you can reach us with the APIP. But if you're reading a case and you find a solution, or you think that that could be a violation to the APIP, you like attach a clause that you think is being violated, or the compensation that you think is applicable to the EP, and we can confirm that based on what you're asking. But that's a basic one. So it would be easier for us to provide you with the answers you need if the more specific you are.
Yes. Next. Once again, make sure to write all the questions and doubt that you have, because sometimes we receive like a full case and it's like, okay, what do you want for us? We really don't read minds. We try, but we don't read minds. So be sure to ask a specific stuff in each consultancy, because sometimes we can give you like a response, but it is not the response that you need or that you want, because again, we don't read minds and we don't know what you are asking if you're not asking. Organize all the information chronological and level of the evidence of the proofs. And please write all the information in black, because sometimes we got some email that is in yellow and red. It's really hard to read a long mail or something that is in red, because we can get tired or lost because it's some distracted. So be sure to write all the emails in black, please.
We are already kind of blind. Please don't make it worse.
Yes. And also, please open the links, because sometimes you send like a link to your drive with all the proof, but we don't have like the permission to enter. So be sure to open this, because if once again it's going to be like waste of time waiting for you to give us an access and all the stuff. And please be sure to use English, because for example, Poti and I, we speak Spanish, but we have Molto also, we have Cello in the next month. We have Adele that they don't speak Spanish, and if you send something in Spanish, we can understand. But sometimes we discuss with the other person in the team about the situation. If you send like the information in Spanish, it's going to be hard for them to understand, and it's going to be like more time asking for the time translation. So once again.
Also, it can be accepted. For example, if Danny and I are the ones reviewing the case, we can go ahead and read the information in Spanish, because we can evaluate it. But it would be useful or mindful of you to remember that not everybody does. So, right, just like it doesn't have to be a perfect translation, but if you're attaching a WhatsApp screenshot of a conversation between an EP, and I've received in like Portuguese, in French, and I'm like, okay, that's beyond my expertise. So, just make sure to attach. If it's just a conversation on WhatsApp, here the EP is discussing about the issues with is complaining about the issues with the NGO, for example. Oh, okay, so now I can get the picture, the general picture. And maybe it's not perfect, but at least we have an idea of what it's saying there when the language is not correct. Or we can't get it because it's not the language we use.
And also remember that you need to, for example, if it's a conversation on WhatsApp, you need to send like the image, not only the translation, because yes, we like are grateful that we have like the translation, but we need to see like there is no like modified something or something like that, because if you only send like the translation or the type of the situation, This is for us is like really weird because we don't know if all the information there is right because we don't have like the proof. So be sure to send like the both thing together, like the translation and the image, or the translation and the mail, or something like that.
Exactly. That's why it's important to organize the information chronologically towards the case and make sure you label your evidence. And if you're going to put your evidence, put it in the same order. For example, I don't know, you have annex number 1, annex number 2, 3, 4, until 10. So you start explaining what are the violations and what were the situations that the AP encountered and what's the proof that's attached that actually matches to that thing. So you can say, no, they had issues, they communicated with the hosting entity, you can find it in Annex 4. So I have access to the, or we have access to this drive, so we just go ahead and check the Annex 4 at the moment and we're like, oh yes, it says here that they have an issue. Yeah, they were talking and they had an issue. Now we can like more assertively read the information you're sending, so we are aware of exactly what's the case about, because we don't know until you explain it to us.
And this all the tips and all the tricks that we show you also apply for the ECB level, because it will be really easy for the other, for the complaint party of the respondent party to read the case, to look what is need to be done, or what to need, what he need to be speak with the LC if they have like the all the information level, all the proof level. So be sure to use all this stuff, all these tricks to all your levels.
One final thing about the consultancies, whenever you are talking about a violation or a compensation, make sure you know what clauses apply and why. So you have proof that can fit in that category. And although many of the issues the EPs can face can seem vital or very important, we don't necessarily need to take them into account, or all of them into account. We need to know which are the violations, and we'll base the response and whatever you guys need based on the violations within the APIP and the APIP. Now let's talk about reimbursement. How can I support a reimbursement? You must know the circumstances and have sufficient evidence to support your claims. That's always in any procedure. What can be compensated and who is responsible? For this, we have the Annex 2, the compensation policies. We have the approval phase and the ref phase. We have when can I open a complaint? Complaints can be raised within a maximum of 12 months from the original violation date. And what document should I use to base my complaints on? The document in force during the time of the incident. For example, if we're talking about a case that started early this year, we would still use our previous documents, the XPPs that were in force at the moment. But since these ones are currently in force, we would use the APIP. Now, what are the agreements? They can happen at any point of the process, including the OCA. After submitting it, the respondent party can choose to negotiate a compensation plan accepting their fault. What do I mean by this? If there's an OCA raised and before we deliver a final solution, the ECB of the responding entity that is in fault, or that will probably be found as a lost case for them, they will just accept their fault and provide a compensation plan and a solution, and there's no need to get to the final stage. That can happen. It's very common, actually. So that's why it's important negotiation, so you guys avoid losing OCAs and losing membership criteria. Depending on the case, it can include financial compensation, a compensation plan according to the Annex 2, compensation policies must be submitted and accepted by the claiming party. If the solution is not conclusive, ICB can be asked to proceed with the OCA. For example, if you start a negotiation again and you again don't reach a solution, we just go ahead and proceed with the OCA. Agreements can happen in any part of the process, and And it is important that you guys know the compensations, doesn't matter in what point of the process they are agreed, they must follow the same rule. First, the first 6 months, they must be paid the 50% of the compensation, and within the next 6 months, they should be provided with the remaining 50. And the final compensation methods can include, but not be limited to, cash in the ILMs or international legislative meetings, bank transfers, online payments such as PayPal, or exchange houses such as Western Union. Wait, let me check the chat because I haven't checked the chat.
They asking if the entity balance adjustment is valid option and how it works.
We would have to go first through the payments within the entities. The respondent, I mean, we have it here in the, we explained it earlier. If the hosting entity, I'm sorry, the sending, oh God, the complaining entity does not receive the money for the hosting entity and the host, pues, oh my God, the respondent party cannot provide the payment within the installments as they were supposed to happen, AI will provide the payment as debt, but it's gonna be like the final stage. It's not gonna be the first solution. It can only happen if the deadlines cannot be met by the entity in debt. It will be like the final stage. And what was the other question? Do we need to inform the ICB if both ECBs agree to extend on that? No.
This is past.
No, I know they're old ones, but no, we do not need to. You don't need to inform us if we're not still in the picture. If we're in a consultancy and we're asking you for something, or we're an OCA and you need to inform us, but not exactly if we're not still in the picture. If you guys are talking ECB to ECB, that's among each other. And you would let us know if you need to contact us and let us know about the situation. No, okay, this took however many days and we've been discussing this topic or whatnot. Can both entities mutually take after 7 days timeline is over? Is there any limit of extension? Not exactly, but it would be ideal to solve the situation as soon as possible. So that's the minimum time you guys have to provide a solution. If no solution is found within 7 days, you can go ahead and proceed with the ECB, ICB level, maybe a consultancy, maybe an OCA, depending on the case and the situation.
So
well, it's gonna show the answers. I forgot to animate those one. I am so sorry.
so this is going to be like a quiz for you, but during what status the APO or the OP can be compensated, you already have the answer there. The violation for the compensation to be liable for the AP and the OP, the violation need to be happen during the approval, the re or the finish phase only. Sorry, the finish. Yes.
And now, can compensation happen under all circumstances? No, certain circumstances apply. What are these certain circumstances? The violations. That is very important. That's why I'm telling you, whenever compensations or cases, we aim towards the violation because they are the things that we can find ground because we have it in our documents, in the APIP, in the APIP. How do these work? So we have the compensation policies, the annex number 2. When we see there, what we see there is gonna be simple. We have the approval phase and we have the realization to completion phase. What is the violation? We have first the violation, the action, and the responsible. So we have, for example, in this one that we put here, a host entity fails to deliver visa documents in the 2 weeks from the approval date, which is the deadline usually entities have to provide this one. What's the action? It can be cancellation of approval. It can be reimburses any EP expenses or he or she had so far. EP fee, travel expenses, if allowed by hosting entity to purchase before visa. If the OP decided to cancel the contract with ISEC, host entity pays the OP expenses expressed in the contract. Reimbursements are only allowed with receipts, providing the expenses were included. Or if the EP and host entity agree on still re, host entity pays for any compensation for tickets rescheduling, documents, etc. Reimbursements are only allowed with receipts, providing the expenses were included. So we have here several actions, and we have who's the final responsible. So maybe we can cancel the approval. Maybe the AP will just not go on re and will be reimbursed for any expenses they may have had related to their travel. Or maybe if they still want to go to their opportunity, and they will be compensated for whatever changes that may happen to the expenses they have already made. And in this case, the final responsible for all of them will be the hosting entity.
And
Now,
also, sorry, and also remember that not because there is a violation. For example, here the hosting entity didn't send like the documents. This means that automatically it's going to be like a financial compensation. Remember that I will seek for fix the situation. What this means, like if your EP is in time to receive all the documents and have like the experience in time, go ahead and try to fix the situation. Don't expect like if they don't deliver the documents and you have like plenty of time to receive a compensation about the situation. First, try to fix all the issues that the UEP have, because the final like solution, all the stuff, the final like um I, sorry, I forget the um okay, like the final so the best solution of this is that the AP have like a good experience with it. It's like no, it doesn't it is not like the financial compensation, is that they have a great experience.
yeah, that's why whenever you're getting to the point where there's violations, it's important to teach your membership and for them to be very mindful about customer is to be customer centric. So this should never happen. That's why they are violations. So your entity should be aware of these situations, should be aware of what the deadlines are for providing all the things that we are supposed to provide in any opportunity at any given time. So we avoid these problems that are the ones that get issues or get the entities having a hard time because they were not able to provide all the experience as we should. And that's where the entities lose a lot of money and become in debt because of this kind of situation. So again, it's very simple. The same thing works for the realization to completion. We have the violation, we have the possible actions, and we have who can be the responsible. For example, in this one, we have criteria to qualify as an exchange participant. The first solution would be cancellation of realization. The sending entity is the responsible. And the sending entity pays the OP expenses expressed in the OP contract with the hosting entity, or it's recommended for the sending entity to find a replacement EP within 1 week. So in this one, we have two solutions for the sending entity being responsible in this one. They can provide a new EP or they can pay for the expenses. Or either way, they have to cancel the realization because the EP doesn't qualify for the criteria. Sending entities should make sure its contract cover possible financial penalties, provided that such penalties are permitted under local applicable law. And criteria to qualify as an opportunity provider, pretty much the same. Host entity finds a replacement opportunity within the same job description within 1 week or pays all the AP's travel expenses. All reimbursements are only allowed with receipts providing the expenses were incurred. So also the other solution is cancellation of realization. Hosting entity is still the final responsible. and should make sure the contracts cover possible financial penalties, provided that such penalties are permitted under local applicable law. Again, there are more violations than these ones. We just use this one to explain how that works, so you guys have a more clear idea on how to read this table of contents. And we like to leave you this checklist. Dani. Daniela?
Sorry. So we made this data and checklist of the case flow to you to have like a more like clear idea of what is happening. So you can have like all the information of the AP of the opportunity, like the product, the AP name, the AP ID, the SAN entity, the OP name, the OP ID, and the host entity, and the issue of the violation. You can use all these template for all your cases, all the cases that you have, and be sure like to complete all the information. For example, the date of the AP raise a complaint, the solution offer for the committee to the AP. If it doesn't work, the next stage, like the ECB, the LCLC communication. What are the dates that they discuss about the issue and the case that they are handling? If they don't reach an agreement in the 72 hours, the 3 days, they have go to the next step, the ECB level, and you have like all this template to you to guide you if you are using or you are following the case of inflow. So please be sure like to respect and be proactive and be like efficiency about the time, because the end is that we need to find a solution for our EP. All this case of inflow is to provide the EP the best experience, and only like the EP wait like 3 for 6 months to be reimbursement if they can find a solution in like 1 week or something like that.
Okay, so basically what we are providing here is not exactly it's basically a checklist. What we were envisioning here is something similar to what we do to track all the information you guys send us regarding breaks, regarding consultancies. So we have like an actual database and understand all the cases and everything, how it works. So what we mean by this, you can create an Excel where you have all this information in a single line, maybe, because sometimes we know entities have a lot of exchanges, they have a lot of open cases, they have a lot of ECB to ECB discussions, and sometimes maybe the LC to LC, they found an agreement, but they didn't follow it. So now you're being requested to take into this case because they didn't follow the agreement they had reached when they were LC to LC level. So that's why it's important to mark the dates, to mark a solution offer, yes or no. What are the dates for this solution and when did it happen? Did they reach an agreement during the LC to LC level, yes or no? What are the dates for the ECB to ECB communication? Are they within the limits that we have? The ICB consultancy, was it needed? Did you contact us? Yes, or maybe you didn't, so it doesn't matter. You need to have the ticket number so you can access that information whatever moment you need. And the ECB level the ECB level agreement reached, yes or no? Was an OCA filed? No. Yes. What's the ticket number? And what is the final resolution date for that solution? And maybe you can add something extra, like reimbursement needed? No. And you can like have all the other extra information with your cases and how you organize your data and all that. This will be mainly a checklist for you to ensure you're following the timeline and to ensure that everything is being done within the timelines you need. If you have a checklist, it's easier to not skip one case or forget about one because you have so many.
Yes. So
and that would be all.
yes. So if you
And
have any questions, a specific question about a case, please send us a consultancy, and we are going to reply to you after we review all the information or ask something to Molto, because if it's a really hard situation or it's a really complex situation, we always have to Molto that is all TL.
or with
So
chat,
maybe, oh yes, or with
or with
Karina.
chat sometimes.
So if you have like a specific case, go and ask for a consultancy. If you have any question about this presentation, also research to us.
Yeah.
So Lilo is here.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm going to write the mail is here, ECB.
Okay, people. No, Lilo could not join, but here
Okay.
you go. Thank you, girls, for the session. It was amazing. I hope it was very clear for all of you. I am just going to give like a quick announcement about the reminder, actually, about our class Star Wars that we are going on right now. The quiz of this session will be up shortly, so be sure to go. And I just want to remind you of one thing. These quizzes and this academy is something mandatory for you to feel. Like, if you do not feel within the 12 hours, your points will not count or will not count like completely for the class Star Wars activity that we are doing, but you still have to feel it, because it's very important that you have all of these topics really, really clear for your term and everything. So just make sure that you feel it, even if you have not felt like the ones from the previous calls and you think that you missed the deadline so you cannot feel it right now, go and feel it. If you did not see the call, go and watch it, because it's topics that are going to be very, very important. And all of the information is in the classroom. So I don't know if anyone has any question about that. Okay, I guess not. Sorry again for my technical problems at the beginning. I am so glad that we can join anyway. And that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. See you tomorrow for the governance session. Very important, do not